from what I've read, from what it sounds like, seems like the return of Jeff McNeil is going to be happening this weekend, which makes things interesting. Like I said, for roster construction wise, because if you're going to add Jeff McNeil to the roster, someone obviously has to come off. It's a matter of who is it, and I think it's an interesting discussion to have because there's pros and cons for taking a guy off of the roster, and the I think the maybe not the immediate guy that comes to mind, but a guy that comes to mind is Luis Angel Acuna because he's basically kind of doing the Jeff McNeil thing right now, where he's playing second base late in games for defense. He has had a couple at bats in the postseason, but something that Acuna could do that maybe is more something McNeil can't do is he could be a late game pinch runner. How many times have we said when they get Martinez or Winker on late in the game, it's like, man, this would be a really good time to pinch run for him, but they can't because they want to use Acuna or a Bader for the late inning defense if they have the lead. So, if you want to roster both those guys, then maybe a pitcher has to come off the roster. I mean, Adam Ottavino hasn't thrown a pitch this whole postseason. I don't even know the last time Adam Ottavino's threw a pitch at all in the game. So, um, and with guys like Peterson and McGill right now who are currently in the bullpen, I know we've talked about trying to shoehorn Peterson back into the rotation, but if a guy like Senga is only going to give you 2-3 innings to start, they're probably going to want to piggyback David Peterson there, and David Peterson's also shown he can be really good late in games too, getting some high leverage outs. So, um, however the Mets construct their NLCS roster, if it does include Jeff McNeil, will certainly be interesting to see who's the guy that they're going to leave off because, like I said, there's pros and cons to every decision you make. So it's a matter of who's going to be. I don't want to say a sacrificial lamb, but who's going to be the guy that's left off. I mean, that remains to be seen. I mean, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on how you would construct this because you know I wouldn't say Acuna's done anything to get taken off the roster, but if you want to have extra arms in the bullpen, he's probably going to come off. But do the 3 days off in between the games also maybe help the bullpen get more rested, so you feel like you can, have one less arm down there? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a, I think the obvious choice is Acuna. I think that's probably the choice if I have to bet right now who's going to be off the roster. It's Acuna. But what I think Danny Young also hasn't thrown a pitch yet in this series. He does, or
No,
he
no, no. I
didn't.
was agreeing with you that he
Um,
hasn't thrown a pick yet.
but he's a lefty, so obviously you keep him there for that sake alone. Um, but yeah, but you still have the the odds that a pitcher just falters too early. Right now, we have seen that pitchers go pretty deep into ball games for the Mets. We mostly see 5 or 6 innings, which is pretty deep into the game in a postseason. But you might have a spot or uh, a moment. And he obviously, besides Senga, but that was calculated, so I don't see that as a in not calculated in arm who takes a shower early. But if you, for example, have Senga for three 3 or 4 innings, and then you need Peterson, then and the next outing you have a guy who doesn't go deep, then you might need those arms to finish some innings off early and then get to McGill probably. So my guess is that also one telling point is that they pinch run Bader instead of Acuna with Vientos. Uh, I think it was the last game. For me, that's a telling point that Acuna, it was perfect spot to bring Acuna in and not have Bader used at that spot, in my opinion. So that I said it to you, why not Acuna? Well, they went with Bader. To me, that's a little bit of a telling point that they probably go with Acuna as well.